Men often blame others so they can justify not taking responsibility. You can blame anyone. How do I know? Because I used to do it. You can blame your wife, your job, your past, the season you're in life. As long as it keeps you from looking in the mirror, we can do what's called blame shifting. And blame isn't about truth, though. It's about remaining comfortable. It gives you a reason to stay the same while convincing yourself you had no choice. But the moment you stop pointing outward, something uncomfortable happens. You realize responsibility has been waiting for you the whole time. It's a great moment. Don't turn away from it. Lean into it, as they say in the professional world. Responsibility is not a punishment. Guys, it's power. It is authority. Because once you own your part, you finally have something you can change. It's my philosophy, which is focus on what you can affect. I can't wait to bring you this episode. We'll be right back after this. Welcome back to another episode of Man vs. Marriage. It is I, your humble servant, the Q Dog, a.k.a. the Q-Ticketed Dog, in the Moran family studio, coming to you for what I would say is one of our most downloaded episode types, which is surprising to me. It's about personal responsibility. And I put this in a variety of categories, and probably the only category that rivals it is sex, because we all want to know more about sex. So with that, let's get into personal responsibility. There are guys that I coach. I have friends. I used to be a guy like this that would continually focus on why my wife wasn't doing X, Y, and Z. And that's the reason I was the way that I am. I have heard it even recently. My wife won't decide this, so I can't that. I wish my wife would change so that I can be X, Y, and Z. I wish this would happen. I wish someone would do something about this. All the while, you surrendered what is rightfully yours. And that is the responsibility to focus on what you can affect, personal responsibility. And what are those things? What are the things that you can focus on? We've talked about on this program at length. I'm going to deliver them to you again. It's your attitude. It is your action. It is your effort. And it is your intention. That is a powerful combination, guys, of what you can use to reframe, reshape, and re-energize your life in the direction that you are going in this journey, because life is about who you are becoming. If you don't get up in the day and you don't have intention on becoming the best version of you that God created, no wonder you're stuck. No wonder you found this podcast. No wonder you found us at this point, at this place in time in your life, because you need it. How do I know? Because I used to be you. I lacked personal responsibility. I blame shifted so that I didn't have to be accountable for my own choices, so that I could make excuses and remain comfortable in my misery. Now, maybe you're not that bad. Maybe it's not that bad for you. You just want things to get a little better. Well, welcome here. we're glad to have you. I don't even say that sarcastically. I'm glad you're here because, like we've talked about in the past as well, wherever you are, we want to take a step further. We want to go, if you're at good, we want to get to great. We want to intentionally grow ourselves and challenge ourselves to grow. Now, blame gives you the outlet to shift responsibility to other people while not understanding that you have failures in your life that you are responsible for. Now, while that seems or may sound harsh, you are here for a purpose. You're here for a reason. And things that I like to ask myself, and I was having a conversation the other day, and I was talking about the things that I do to challenge myself, and I do things to make myself uncomfortable on purpose because I want to remain sharp. Because I believe in my own life that change and growth happens in the discomfort, not in the comfort side of life. So if there are, and look, there are so many things in my life that are outside of my control that make me uncomfortable. So the idea might be, well, since I can't control those, I want to seek comfort on every other level. I think our desire to seek comfort as human beings is at epidemic levels because the more comfortable you are over the course of time, the more you surrender your grit and your tenacity. And comfortable, to me, it equals compromise when it's overdone. For you, maybe comfortable or being in comfort, maybe it feels productive. The fact is that you get stuck. And when you get stuck, you can get discouraged and you can start to regress because you compromise your values. If you don't know your values, you're already there. I would challenge you by saying you're already there. But let's focus on why you're here. Because you're sick. You're sick of compromising your values. And you know, like I know, when I get too comfortable, it doesn't mean I'm never comfortable or I don't seek comfort. We all need rest. We all need respite. We all want a little more distance between us and the street, between the wolf at the door, whatever that looks like. But here's the thing. When it comes to where you are in life, there's one place that you can look that will help you understand why you've gotten there. What's the one place? It's the mirror, because we are a product of our choices. You say, Quincy, screw you, dude. You do not know what has happened in my life. That's a fair point. If you're new to the program, you don't know what's happened in my life either. But you know what the fact is that by the grace of God, I'm still here. I'm still standing. In 16 years after my wife and I decided to invest in our relationship, we're growing in a forward motion. We're growing closer together. We're in a season of our life where things are getting and becoming extremely difficult because there's so much change under our roof. But that's okay because we've been intentional about how we nurture and develop and challenge and grow our relationship. And now we take responsibility when we've screwed up. We take responsibility when we've been the a-hole in the room. We take responsibility when we know we're not doing what we promised one another we would do. And that is what I'm asking you to take a look at today. It's about taking ownership with that idea that somebody should do something. Why doesn't my wife do this? Why aren't my kids doing X, Y, and Z? How come the boss is not doing A, B, and C? No, we have to look within to focus on the things that we can affect and begin the process of change. and it's uncomfortable. But it's time that you make the decision, like I did, to stop doing what's easy and start to do what's necessary. And yeah, I'm hyped up on it because I'm passionate about it, because it makes you a better man. It makes you a better husband. It makes you a better father. It makes you a better professional. And I have the distinct belief, I have the great deep conviction that God created you to be someone great, and that He orchestrated and laid out good things for you to do that are according to His good and perfect will. So you were created on purpose for a reason. What are you doing about that? I had to look myself in the mirror years ago when I had 7,000 adventures outside of this home, because I was looking for validation. I was looking for someone to affirm me that I was good enough. I was looking for someone to affirm me that I mattered, not realizing that the place that I already mattered and the place I was already good enough was under my own roof. And that's what I want you to look at today. How is your attitude? What are your actions? What kind of effort are you putting in proactively to change who you are as the leader in your home? And what are your intentions? Because when I found out what confidence is built upon, thank God for Ed Milet, where your confidence is built is not in the outcome of something. It is in what your intentions and your motivations are. So who are you becoming? As I'm recording this, I can look myself in the face and say, Quincy, who are you becoming? I can look you in the face and say, I've come to a point in my life where I have surrendered my selfish ambition to the heart of God. I have surrendered that to Him because I want to align myself with His good and perfect will for me. That is me taking responsibility for the gift of life that I have been given and looking forward to walk that out. But it takes action on my part. And just like you, it takes action on your part. And let me tell you something. The day you decide to change that and you decide to take responsibility for your actions and stop blaming your wife, that will be a day that is a milestone day in your journey on this earth. Let it be today. Let it be today. We are not promised tomorrow. Let it be today. Because if you are not living those vows that you made to your wife, you need to take some responsibility, irregardless of what she's doing, because you cannot control her behavior. Are you the man you promised you would be in those vows? Look in the mirror and ask yourself that question. How can I say that so strongly? Because I had to do the same thing. If you listen to this program for a while, you've heard me talk about the funeral experience and how I had to look at myself and say, I'm not the man I promised I would be. I'm not a man right now that I myself would respect. I'm not a man that I could trust, that when the rubber meets the road, that I could come through for me. How did I know that? Well, number one, I had to look at my health. I was incredibly morbidly obese. That's not even me taking care of me so that I have the best opportunity to take care of my family. It starts right there on the inside. Now, my transformation has been dramatic, and I believe I was always a good guy. I'm just sort of made that, like, that's my personal operating system, to be a good guy, to be the optimist. But I didn't have a belief. I didn't have a belief that I was worth it. And I found out why. And through this journey, you will find out the same thing about yourself. Why do you do what you do? I want you to know, my brother, I want you to know this, no matter where you are in the 90-something countries that this video, that these podcasts go out, I want you to know responsibility is not punishment. Taking personal responsibility empowers your authority. You walk and you talk differently. Like when I took responsibility for my health at over 380 and I started to lose weight and I started to get more and more healthy, I walked and I talked different because I knew the investment that I was making. I knew the reason, the why, the purpose. I knew why I was doing it. I knew what my intentions were. And had people in my life that helped hold me accountable, but I had to know who I was becoming in order not to quit when I blew it, in order not to quit when I failed. And I failed many times, just like in becoming the Quincy Moran of today. I have failed many times, but I didn't stop. I didn't wait until next Monday. I got up and I continued to move forward. The one thing I want to tell you too before I end this program, because for too long I thought there was gonna, metaphorically, there was gonna be the music, da 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 da, when you wish upon a star. I thought that was supposed to come in. I thought maybe, this weird thought in my mind that there would have to be this moment where the sun just shined right through the clouds, and a booming voice from heaven came and said, "Now you have permission to change." As funny or as dopey as that may seem, I didn't think it was exactly like that, but I thought like something incredible was supposed to happen in order for me to truly change. But let me encourage you with this. Change starts the moment you take responsibility for who you are. Change starts. It begins in that moment when you've decided, I want to figure out who I'm becoming. And then you focus on what you can affect. That's a moment that you can own. That's when you take your authority back. That's when you fire the excuses and you stand tall and you say with a broad chest and your chin elevated, I'm here and I'm ready to get things done. That's when you start to become the man that your wife would be okay to follow. That's when you become the man that your children would be okay to follow. That's when that's the step where you start to build your authority and bring that back. That's where it begins. Listen, I believe with a deep conviction that you didn't find this program by accident. You are here. You're here for a reason. And you, bro, you have been created to do something great. And something great doesn't have to be this thing where you're on the silver screen with millions of people looking for you. Do you realize how great and eternal the impact is if you make a difference in your own family? Do you realize the ripple effect that provides? It's not about doing something grandiose. It's about doing what is most important. And that starts with you. You lead the way for your family. You lead the way for healing. You lead the way to create an atmosphere within your home that draws your family together. And you lead the way and let me know how I can help you. I'm going to read this open one more time. Men blame others so they can justify not taking responsibility. Let me reframe that. I used to blame others so I could justify not taking responsibility. And look, I could blame anyone in my life. I could blame my wife. I could blame my job. I could blame my past. I could even blame the season that I was in. As long as it kept me from looking in the mirror, I could find someone to shift the blame for or to. But blame isn't about truth. Blame is about comfort. It gives me a reason to stay the same while convincing myself that I had no choice in the matter. But the moment I stopped pointing outward, something uncomfortable happened. I realized responsibility had been waiting for me the entire time. And I had to come to realize that responsibility is not punishment. Responsibility is a privilege. It's power. It's authority. Because once I owned my part, I finally had something that I could change. And it begins from within. That's it for this episode. Thank you so much for listening. How can I help you? It's Quincy at Manvsmarriagepodcast.com. That's the email. As you write that email, I want you to ask yourself, now, what can I do? Don't think about why you can't change. Start to think about why you can. And then when you email me, let's talk about what you're willing to do. Thank you so much. It is I, Quincy Moran, your humble servant. And thanks for listening to this episode. I can't wait to see you on the next one, my people. The Q Dog is out. Roll Tide, everybody.